While I can still recall what normal feels like, I must put this in writing. Even so, I am still able to distinguish between what is real and what they want me to think is. Even though I'm 200 miles away from that location now, my hands won't stop shaking, and I can still hear calliope music in the distance. But I must issue a warning. I need someone who knows what we discovered in Merryton, Nebraska, and why we should have never stopped there. My name is Sarah Chen, and 3 weeks ago I was just a travel blogger with a moderately successful YouTube channel about abandoned places. My best friend Marcus and I would road trip across America, documenting forgotten towns, closed theme parks, defunct roadside attractions. We called it America's Ghost Towns, and we had about 50,000 subscribers who loved watching us explore places time forgot. Merryton wasn't on our list. We'd never even heard of it. By chance, we discovered it. We encountered a detour while traveling through rural Nebraska in search of an abandoned grain elevator Marcus had looked into. We had to take a county route that wasn't on our GPS due to road construction. We followed hand-painted signs that simply read detour with arrows pointing farther into nowhere as we drove through level farmland for 20 minutes. That's when we saw the billboard. It was ancient, the paint faded and peeling, but still readable. Welcome to Merryton, home of the eternal Circus, population 437. Bring the whole family. Below that, in smaller letters that made my skin crawl, the show never ends. Holy shit, Marcus said, already pulling over. Did you see that? An eternal circus? Sarah, this could be gold for the channel. I was paying closer attention to the billboard. The artwork featured happy families waving, cartoon clowns juggling, and a traditional circus tent with vibrant flags. However, there was a problem with the clowns' faces. Their grins were too big. They had too much intensity in their eyes. Additionally, they all appeared to be staring straight at the audience rather than the families or one another. I don't know, Marcus. This feels weird. Why isn't this town on the map? That's exactly why we should check it out. Come on. When have we ever passed up a lead this good? He was right, of course. This is what we did. We documented the forgotten, the abandoned, the strange. I pushed down my unease and got my camera ready. Cornfields lined the straight path to Merryton. No other signs, no other turns. There was only a single road that led straight into what ought to have been a town, but instead appeared to be a stage set. The structures were too symmetrical and flawless. Main Street featured the typical small-town businesses, a movie theater, a general store, a pharmacy, and a diner. However, they were positioned with nearly mathematical accuracy, with every building being precisely the same distance apart, and they were all painted in circus colors. Bright reds, yellows, blues, stripes, and polka dots adorned every storefront. It should have looked cheerful. Instead, it looked like something pretending to be cheerful, like a predator wearing bright colors to attract prey. This is incredible, Marcus breathed, already filming. It's like the whole town is themed. I've never seen anything like this. I had my eyes on the street. It was deserted, utterly devoid. No automobiles. Nobody. There was absolutely no movement, save for the banners and flags that hung from each building and fluttered in an invisible wind. Marcus, where is everyone? Probably all at work or something. Small town, middle of a Tuesday. We'll find people. We parked in front of the diner, Bobo's Big Top Diner according to the sign, and got out. The silence hit me immediately. Not peaceful silence, but wrong silence. The kind where your ears feel like they're straining to hear something that should be there but isn't. No birds, no insects, no distant cars or machinery. Just silence and that breeze moving the flags. The diner door was unlocked. Inside, it was stuck in time. Red vinyl booths, a long counter with spinning stools, a jukebox in the corner playing nothing. Everything was clean. Too clean, like it had been maintained but never used. On every table sat a small paper tent card with the same message. Welcome to Merryton. The show starts at sundown. Don't miss it. Okay, this is officially creepy, I said, filming everything. A whole themed town with nobody in it. Marcus was already exploring the kitchen. Sarah, come look at this. The kitchen had everything it needed. There is fresh food in the fridge. The pot of coffee is still warm. Orders for breakfast that had never been picked up were pinned to the ticket rail. At the grill station, cold but not stale eggs and bacon are arranged on plates. It's as if someone stopped cooking an hour ago. They left in the middle of breakfast service, I said quietly. Or they're coming back, Marcus replied. But his voice had lost some of its enthusiasm. We explored more of Main Street. The pharmacy had medications on the shelves, a prescription waiting to be filled with a name I couldn't quite read. The general store had fresh produce in bins, newspapers dated from last week. The movie theater was showing something called The Grand Finale. No other information, just that title on the marquee and a poster showing a circus tent with those same wrong-faced clowns. Every building had those tent cards. The show starts at sundown. Don't miss it. We found the first person in the barber shop. He was sitting in the barber's chair, perfectly still, wearing a customer cape. An elderly man with a half-finished haircut. Scissors sat on the counter next to him. A straight razor lay in the sink, still wet. "Sir," Marcus called out. "Sir, are you okay?" The man didn't respond, didn't even blink. He was staring straight ahead at the mirror, his expression completely blank. I approached slowly, my camera still recording. "Sir, we're not from here. We're just passing through. Can you tell us what's happening in this town?" Nothing. Not even a flicker of acknowledgement. Marcus waved his hand in front of the man's face. No reaction. It was like he was catatonic, locked in some kind of trance state. "What the hell?" Marcus whispered. "Sarah, we need to call someone. This guy needs medical attention." I tried my phone. No signal. Marcus tried his. Same thing. The Wi-Fi networks we'd seen earlier had all disappeared from our phone's lists. "We should get back to the car," I said. "Drive until we get a signal and call for help." We heard it then. First faint, then increasing in volume. Calliope tunes. Despite its upbeat sound, the vintage circus organ music always has a hint of danger. It came from the town's outskirts. "The circus," Marcus said, already heading for the door. "Marcus, no. We need to leave. Something is really wrong here. That's exactly why we need to document it. 5 minutes. We get footage of whatever that is, then we leave and call the authorities. This could be the biggest story we've ever covered. I should have insisted. I should have grabbed him and dragged him back to the car. But I didn't. Because he was right. This was the story. And part of me needed to know what was happening. We followed the music to the edge of town where Main Street ended and an open field began. And there, impossible and undeniable, sat a massive circus tent. Red and white stripes, pennant flags snapping in that unfelt breeze, and a hand-painted sign that read, Merryton Eternal Circus, established 1952, where every day is opening day. The tent entrance was open, a red curtain pulled back invitingly. The calliope music was coming from inside, louder now, almost hypnotic in its repetitive melody. "We're going in," Marcus said. It wasn't a question. The interior of the tent was larger than it should have been. The classic 3 rings, bleacher seating rising up in circles, spotlights hanging from impossible heights. And in every seat, perfectly still, sat the people of Merryton. There are hundreds of them. Children, women, and men. Everyone was dressed as though they had just walked in from their regular activities. They were all sitting perfectly, their hands folded in their laps, and they were all looking down at the empty rings with the same expressionless look on their faces that we had seen on the man in the barber shop. "Oh my God," I breathed, panning my camera across the crowd. "Marcus, they're all here. The whole town. None of them reacted to our presence. None of them even seemed to see us. They just stared at the rings, waiting for something." The calliope music stopped. In the sudden silence, I could hear my own heartbeat. Marcus's breathing beside me. And underneath that, something else. A sound like giggling. Children laughing. But wrong. Too high-pitched. Too synchronized. Spotlights blazed to life, illuminating the center ring. "Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls!" A voice boomed through the tent, echoing from everywhere and nowhere. "Welcome to the Merryton Eternal Circus, the show you've all been waiting for, the show that never ends." 3 figures emerged from behind the curtain at the far end of the tent. They were dressed as clowns, colorful suits, big shoes, white face paint. But their costumes looked old, stained with things I didn't want to identify, and their makeup wasn't quite right. The white was too white, too smooth, like it wasn't makeup at all, but something that had replaced their skin. "We have special guests tonight," the center clown announced, and his head rotated unnaturally to look directly at us. "New visitors. New performers. How delightful." The audience of townspeople began to clap, slowly, rhythmically, in perfect unison, their hands coming together with mechanical precision, their blank expressions never changing. "Marcus, we need to leave, right now." But Marcus wasn't next to me anymore. I spun around to find him walking down the aisle toward the ring, his camera hanging loose at his side, his expression going blank. "Marcus!" I screamed. "Marcus, stop!" He didn't stop. He just kept walking, joining a stream of other people who were rising from their seats and making their way toward the rings. Children and adults, all moving with that same mechanical precision. The clowns began to juggle, but they weren't juggling balls or pins. They were juggling something that looked like light itself, glowing orbs that left trails in the air. And wherever those trails touched someone in the audience, that person would smile. A real smile. The first expression I'd seen on any of their faces, but it was a wrong smile. Too wide, too happy. Like their faces were being pulled into that expression against their will. I ran after Marcus, grabbing his arm. "Please, we have to go. This isn't normal." He turned to look at me, and for a second I saw recognition in his eyes. Fear. He was still in there, fighting whatever was happening. His mouth opened, and he managed to whisper, "Run, Sarah. Don't let them." One of the glowing orbs hit him square in the chest. His eyes went blank again, and that terrible smile spread across his face. "Welcome to the show," the clowns sang in unison. "Welcome to the circus. Welcome to forever." I ran, burst out of the tent and sprinted back toward Main Street, toward our car. Behind me, I could hear laughter, that high-pitched, synchronized giggling that made my skin crawl. And underneath it, the sound of footsteps, lots of footsteps, people leaving the tent, following me. I didn't look back. I got to the car, fumbled with the keys, and thank God it started. I tore out of Merryton, back down that straight road through the cornfields, driving faster than I ever had in my life. In my rearview mirror, I could see them, the townspeople, Marcus, all of them standing at the edge of town, waving goodbye with perfect synchronization. And in front of them, the 3 clowns, their 2 white faces gleaming in the setting sun. I drove until I hit the highway, didn't stop until I reached the next town over, a normal place with normal people who looked at me like I was crazy when I tried to explain what I'd seen. I called the police. They sent a unit to investigate. The officers came back 3 hours later and told me there was no town called Merryton on that road, no detour, no circus, just empty farmland. They showed me maps, satellite imagery. That area had been empty for decades. No buildings, no roads, nothing but corn. But I have footage, hours of it. Except when I try to review it, something's wrong. The video shows us driving, shows us talking about the abandoned grain elevator, and then nothing. Just static. 20 minutes of static where Merryton should be. Then picks back up with me in my car, alone, crying and driving on the highway. Marcus is gone. His phone goes straight to voicemail. His apartment is empty. His family hasn't heard from him. It's like he never existed, except I have texts from him. Photos of us together. Memories that feel real but that the world insists aren't. I made an attempt to return. I've now driven that route 4 times in search of the detour, signs, or any clue as to Merryton's location. I never locate it. Just roads that lead to nowhere interesting and endless farmland. But I know it's still there. I can feel it. Because 3 nights ago I woke up at 3 a.m. to find a tent card on my nightstand. The same cards from the diner. The show starts at sundown. Don't miss it. I don't know how it got there. My door was locked. My windows were closed. But there it was, placed carefully next to my bed like someone had been standing over me while I slept. And last night, I heard it. The calliope music, faint but unmistakable, playing in the distance. I looked out my window, and there, at the end of my street, barely visible in the darkness, I saw 3 figures, tall, thin, too pale in the streetlight. They were waving at me. I closed the curtain and called the police. When they arrived 10 minutes later, there was nothing there. They suggested I see a therapist, that I'm experiencing trauma from my friend's disappearance, that grief can make us see things that aren't there. But I know what I saw. I know where Marcus is. He's in Merryton, sitting in that audience, watching a show that never ends, waiting for new visitors, new performers. And I think they're coming for me. Because today, when I checked my mail, there was an envelope. No return address, no stamp, just my name written in curling festive letters. Inside was a ticket, a circus ticket. It read, Merryton Eternal Circus, Admit 1, valid for all eternity. Show starts at sundown. And on the back, in handwriting I recognized as Marcus's, I saved you a seat. Everyone's waiting. The show can't go on without you. Please come back. We miss you. We all miss you. I've been driving aimlessly for hours now, trying to think, trying to figure out what to do. But every road I take feels like it's curving back toward Nebraska. Every detour sign feels deliberate. Every town I pass through looks a little bit too colorful, a little bit too perfect. My GPS just glitched. For a second, it showed a route I wasn't following. A straight line through farmland to a town that doesn't exist. And the estimated arrival time was sundown. I keep telling myself I won't go back. I won't let them take me. But I can hear the music again. Even with my windows up and the radio on, I can hear it. That calliope melody that sounds like it's being played inside my skull. And I'm so tired. I haven't really slept in 3 weeks. Every time I close my eyes, I see that tent, those blank faces, Marcus smiling that wrong smile. Part of me wonders if it would be so bad. If being there, being part of the show, would at least mean I wouldn't be alone anymore. Wouldn't have to keep running. Wouldn't have to live in a world where my best friend vanished and nobody believes me. Part of me wants to go back, and that's the part that scares me most. Because I'm writing this at a rest stop, and I just realized something. When I parked, I was facing east. But now, without moving the car, I'm facing west, toward Nebraska, toward where Merryton should be. The sun is setting. The sky is turning that perfect circus tent red and orange, and I can see them. In the parking lot. More of them than before. Not just the 3 clowns, but dozens of them. All the townspeople, all smiling, all waving. Marcus is at the front. He's holding a sign that says, We've been waiting for you. They're not coming closer. They're just standing there, waiting, watching, like they know I'll come to them eventually, like they know I can't resist forever. The calliope music is so loud now, so cheerful, so inviting. I should drive away. I should keep running. But my hand is on the key, and I'm not turning it. I'm just sitting here, looking at them, seeing Marcus's smile. And I'm wondering, what if the show really is eternal? What if everyone in Merryton found something there? Something we're all missing in the real world. Purpose. Community. A place where you belong forever. What if I'm running from the only place that actually wants me? The sun is almost down. The sky is the color of circus tents. The music is beautiful. They're all waving now. An ocean of hands, moving in perfect synchronization. Welcoming me home. I think I'm going to answer them. I think I'm going to go see the show. Just this once. Just to understand. Just to make sure Marcus is okay. Just... Video file ends. No further footage. Available. Phone log. Last activity. 7:23 p.m. Rural Nebraska. No signal. Status. Sarah Chen, missing. Person. Last seen 3 weeks ago. Note. Local authorities report no town called Merryton exists in Nebraska records. Investigation ongoing. If you have any information about Sarah Chen's whereabouts, please contact. Addendum. County Road 47 reopened after construction. Detour signs removed. Route restored to normal traffic patterns. No unusual activity reported. Final note. If you're traveling through rural Nebraska and see a detour sign with the message, Merryton, where the show never ends, do not follow it. Do not stop. Do not investigate. Report the sign to authorities immediately and continue on your planned route. Some shows aren't meant for audiences. Some circuses should stay forgotten. Some clowns should never be found.